So we actually don't know which of them are species anymore unless you're like a specialist, I guess, in begonias. But this is where they mingle.
I think it crossed with one of the other begonias. Somebody was telling me to be careful about it, but I said, no, I don't mind.
Let them have fun.
I let them have fun and let them surprise us.
Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm in Manila now at the Pinto Art Museum, accompanied here by Ronald. And he's going to share with us some interesting history about the place and also his own journey with the plant world. And then we're going to look at some beautiful endemic plants in the Philippines. So Ronald, tell us a bit about your journey.
I'm actually a visual artist. No, I'm a painter by profession, but I sort of shifted to a larger canvas, I became more fascinated with our natural history, our native flora.
What made you decide to shift?
I think the visual arts, it kind of lost its magic for me. It was being dictated more by money and capitalism more than philosophy or the sense of awe that I used to derive from art. It kind of diminished as the art scene became very circular.
Yeah.
It's feeding on itself. Maybe I needed some distance from it and to return to it from a new perspective.
I see. So we're here in an arboretum, I have a hard time pronouncing it, in the Pinto Art Museum. And then this is a collection of endemic plants. How did this place came to be and why does it exist?
Well, the more I became aware of the plight of our native flora, the more I became involved in its conservation. The typical Filipino knows very little about Philippine flora. We are among the richest in terms of biodiversity, but we are the least aware of our natural wealth, our natural heritage. And also we are at the top of the most endangered ecosystems.
Okay.
in the world.
Human activity or?
Largely because of human activity and indifference. A lack of interest in it. Like there are a lot of subdivisions right now. They're destroying hectares and hectares of raw forest land, and not even bothering to find out what's growing there.
I see.
And they're replacing it with non-native species. Well, I'm also part of the group called the Philippine PNPCSI. It's Philippine Native Plant Conservation Society Incorporated. Recently, there's been an awareness of Philippine tree species. This is an arboretum, which means a garden of trees, but I'm also including all the other plant groups, the vines, the Aroids, the gingers, the shrubs.
Ferns, I saw.
The ferns.
Begonias.
Yeah. I want a more, as close to a representation of Philippine flora.
I see. This is exactly as if you walk into a forest, like a curated forest. In fact, sadly, a lot of our forests now are also full of plants that are not native here, that are becoming invasive.
Exactly.
Overseas from the ornamental market. But yeah, so in today's episode, we're going to explore some of the wonderful species that are growing here, and then we'll learn a little bit about them. And of course, feel free to visit this museum. It's really, really wonderful, beautiful, beautiful architecture, very whimsical, and a lot of Instagrammable spots. There are a lot of people here who are just fascinated by the architecture, by the beauty, and also by the plants around here. I see a lot of really cool young couples and families. So this is a cool place to spend a day if you're in the Philippines, in Manila.
Hi, my name is Anthony Palomo. I was once a student at University of the Philippines. That's where I met Ronald. We all started that this was, there was no museum yet. It was all garden, everything.
Yeah.
And then
For residual forest, actually.
Dr. Kwan opened his place as a meeting place on Sunday. Like people would convene and then do some drawings and exhibit them on a Sunday. So it's a Sunday thing with Dr. Kwana that in the 90s. And then the first work that they happened to do is we got it through the Cultural Center of the Philippines was Carnaval. So there, and then the rest is history. They all separated and
evolved organically, very organically.
So I can safely say this is kind of an art collective between you guys, and it evolved into the space that it is today. And it's probably driven by art and also a little bit by nature. And I believe that the buildings, Doctor, you were saying earlier, they was built around 5 years ago.
How time flew. That's a
Something in particular.
Okay.
It's like it grew organically, no? Like one building at a
After
time.
another.
So I think it started in the 90s. No?
This was all forest, like a forest.
Tony Liano, he was the architect, and he designed all these structures here. Built them one by one.
I see.
So-
I particularly like I think the Spanish style. Or, as you were saying, maybe a bit of Mediterranean as well.
It's more like a very, very flippant, not flippant, but kind of flippant. You know, it's just I want to build a building that looks like,
But also it looks a little bit like a movie set.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, a little bit of a video game or a movie set. It's like not real.
Yeah,
It's right here in person. I think it's trying to emulate the reality, but it's an interpretation.
It's exactly. It's an impression of an actual, maybe a memory or something they saw on a photograph.
Yeah.
But translated it into something three-dimensional.
That's amazing though, because this really is one of a kind place.
Well, Tony is a genius in that way, I think. You know.
Art, science, and healing wholeness. And a beautiful bed of gloriosum. Of course, this is not native here.
The non-natives, yeah.
Yeah,
He's wearing green.
I was wrong. I thought you were wearing orange, but
Oh, you were in the comfort room, huh? Yeah, we were looking for you. But this is a native, it's a gymnosperm, but it's a native species. It's the Cridium pectinatum. It's the Cridium. It's a gymnosperm, so it's usually found in mining sites. So most Filipinos are not familiar with these plants because they're
fights. Why?
in
Cliffs, limestone.
they grow in places with very low nutrients,
I see.
but so they high in heavy metals.
I see.
They're specialists.
I see.
They-
And can they get bigger than this, or is it?
Actually, in the mount. Oh, this particular one is a dwarf.
Okay.
It grows in the lowland. It's a lowland ultramafic species.
Yeah.
But when it's in the highlands, it grows much bigger.
I see.
But in the lowlands, it gets dwarfed.
yeah.
Um,
And I love this. You can see the shoots are still putting out new leaves, so this is still spreading.
so we don't have a local name for it. It's because
Really?
people very rarely encounter it. It's found in the more remote places, specifically in mining sites.
And it's got a ton of thorns on the stem, so maybe they're not so friendly with the animals.
It's more like scale. They're not really thorny. Yeah. It's
Okay.
more like a scale-like root. It's like related to conifers.
Is it coniferous?
It's coniferous, yeah.
Yeah. Does it have a pine cone?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I feel like it should.
Conifer, actually.
Okay. Makes sense.
So what you have here are exclusively Philippine species.
That's amazing.
So that's why you're not gonna see any philodendrons, no bromeliads. Although we have the Freycinettias. Are you familiar with Freycinettias?
No, I'm not.
These are the climbing vines,
Okay.
climbing pandans.
I see.
Climbing vines would be redundant, no? So I see them, they're kind of analogous to bromeliads in South America because they also change color, the bracts, to attract their pollinators. So from afar, and when they're in bloom, they look like bromeliads.
Oh, wow.
They grow on trees. I think in the Philippines, we had about 40 species of Freycinettias, and 98% of them are endemic. No, most of them are found only in the Philippines.
I see. Do they have any medicinal or any properties?
Most of our plants are really understudied. I'm sure there would be some medicinal. Take this one. This is a Philanthus.
Oh, Philanthus.
Philanthus. I don't know if it's Robinsonii or Curanii, but it's only found on ridges about 400 meters above sea level. So they call it buwis buhay when they get these plants from the mountains.
What does that mean?
Like you risk your life getting this because they have to rappel on ridges.
Yeah. To get.
And it grows only on a specific level.
I see. Is it?
Maybe, I don't know, if maybe the cloud, they get water from the cloud line, or...
Do you think a lot of these plants might have ornamental values, or are they just
Ornamental, yeah, I think it's very ornamental. I discovered this from the bonsai hunters.
I see.
They were the ones who told me about it.
It's easy to grow here for you. No
It
problem.
can grow from cuttings. This is an heptaplurum. It used to be Schefflera. Sometimes they resurrect old names because of
We're so used to the name Schefflera already, though.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
But this is an interesting one. Is it because it's just low light and etoliated, or is it naturally just grown like this?
It's an epiphyte. It grows on trees.
Oh, this is a very
It's flowering, you see.
what is the name you said?
Heptapleura.
Heptapleura. I'm still not used to calling it with the new name.
This is another Freycinetia, but it's growing. And this is another species.
From the one we saw in the
It's
beginning.
different from the one we saw.
I see they're creepers.
But we have around 10 Scheffleras here, but we still have to find out their names because many of them have not flowered yet. It's one of the more ornamental rattans
Okay.
in the Philippines, though we have a lot of rattans, Philippine rattans. But it's a very endangered plant because of the rattan industry, which is practically dead now. I don't know if they've transferred to Indonesia now, no?
I'm not sure.
But we used to have a very thriving rattan industry in the Philippines in the 70s, from the 60s to the 70s, you know.
For furniture or
For furniture, you know. In fact, they were very popular in the American architectural scene, and you would see them in the magazines.
Nice.
But now it's a dead industry because we have practically wiped out our rattans because they're very slow growing, you know.
Oh, wow.
And,
But this one's just growing on the rock, so it's an epiphyte, or
they can
be
grow in different habitats as long as it's moist enough and there's enough nutrients.
yeah. This is endemic to the Philippines. Right?
Yeah, and super expensive. This guy, I don't know if you know Arids and Aroids.
Yeah.
They're selling it for, I don't know, $10,000 each.
Oh my gosh. It's not particularly beautiful, but maybe it's just super
It's rare, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not fully grown yet, but it retains that form. This is my favorite Philippine palm. It's Pinanga geonomiformis. It's pencil thick. It can grow maybe 4 meters max, but it retains that pencil thickness.
Oh, so the thin, so this is the stem.
That's as thick as it gets.
Okay.
And the new growth is purplish.
I see.
So it's very attractive when they have new
Emergent.
foliage. Yeah. So and it clumps. It clusters.
Yeah.
And very slow growing. So this is a very old specimen. Maybe
So
a specimen this tall would be 7-8 years. So this would be maybe 30 years.
And it just puts out offshoots from the
Offshoots, just below.
That's the only way. Alocasias.
This is the green shield. It's an endemic Alocasia.
A lot of them are from Philippines. Actually.
Alocasia clipiolata, I think. This is Alocasia heterophylla. And as the name implies, it comes in different forms. Hetero, meaning different. Heterophylla, different leaves. So there are many different forms of Philippine Alocasia. So you can say Alocasia heterophylla, but there are about more than a dozen forms of it.
Yeah, so this is a more silver and reflective.
More silvery, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this one. This is Porte. This is also Porte.
Oh wow, this is a particularly tall Porte with small leaves.
Yeah, and the nice contrast of the veins.
Maybe there are quite different forms of these Portes.
There's so many different forms, and some have darker stems. Banjigo, I think.
Oh, Alocasia banjigo, this one. Yeah, we met her yet.
Yeah, but that's huge. That grows huge.
Yeah, so this is still a baby.
And more pronounced, it's a kind of black gnome. I think we have 3 species of black gnome in the Philippines. This one is it's a ficus. It's a riparian ficus. It grows near water.
Minahasi.
Ficus minahasi, yeah.
These are the spent fruits, or what are these? The flowers?
These are the zygonium, no? From the flowers, the equivalent of the fruit of the ficus. They're actually edible, but this one does not look like it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, but it's actually what birds are attracted to this, you know? This is a bird magnet.
I see, and they flowers in the bottom, so it's...
Yeah, they're usually found along streams.
Yeah.
Very fast-moving streams.
Yeah.
So if you're foraging for food in the forest, that's one place to look for them, you know.
So these Selaginellas?
That's a Selaginella that's found in Quezon.
These are the same, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, this one might be a bit more dry, but this is a newer form.
Yeah, it's found in more humid, damp places in and usually about 500 meters above sea level. So here it's kind of acclimatizing. We've been able to propagate them
Can
slowly.
you propagate by stem cuttings?
By the rhizomes, there'll be new growth. Yeah, like those are the new.
Oh, these are the offsets.
can
so you can
offset them.
separate it.
Yeah.
But you
But
cannot
from
cut it.
cuttings, I have not been very successful.
Okay.
But I think it's possible.
It should be because they creep,
Yeah.
they creep
Yes,
along
yes.
and they root into
But I think
things.
you have to put them in containers,
humidity.
I'm more into the survival of the
Oh,
fittest, you know.
okay. I love containers. I love that
I
they
just
put these little fronds at the
propagate and whoever makes it.
Yeah. But you have
But
the
then
right
again, there are
condition.
some very, very beautiful plants that you have to be very careful with.
Yeah.
We have about 50 species also.
50 species of Selaginella.
Selaginella, yes.
Oh. So this is also endemic here to the Philippines.
No, it's not. It's Angiopteris evecta. It's quite widespread in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, all around.
Each front can triple in size, about maybe 7 meters long. Usually the ferns and they're the more primitive plants, and they disperse by spores, no?
Yeah.
So they're more widespread than seeds, than angiosperms or gymnosperms.
Yeah. So they naturally occur in forests here, and they provide
Yes,
shade.
in Southeast Asian forests, it's quite ubiquitous. This is the undescribed Asplenium from Leyte. Still undescribed, but quite common in the market. I saw them selling it in the Bangkok stalls here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And they can be
Look at this one.
too by cutting.
This.
Yeah. Whimsical. They have so many different
It
forms.
grows like a vine.
Ah.
This one is a microsorum.
Okay.
Oh no, it's a bulbatis.
Interesting.
Bulbatis,
It is quite ornate.
quite ornate, and they come in very different forms.
They put out babies of the egg.
Yeah, they have runners. They produce runners here. Yeah. So it will grow into a new plant altogether.
Quite cute. I think this one even put out a baby from here. Cute. I love it when plants do that.
And
Again, gorgeous ferns. Another gorgeous fern.
another begonia. I think this is Begonia madulidii, named after one of our botanists. But I think, again, there's a bit of hybridization going on here, no? Because it doesn't look like the typical madulidii.
Yeah.
I think it crossed with one of the other begonia.
Of course, in the
Somebody was telling me to be careful about it, but I said, no, I don't mind.
let them have fun.
I let them have fun and
course-
let them surprise us. Our native begonias. Yeah.
Begonia. And
I'm crazy about begonias, but I'm not very good at memorizing their
Yeah.
names, But some of them have hybridized. It has a peltate.
yeah. So, so it hybridized naturally.
Well, naturally here.
Yeah, look at this. It looks like an anthurium, but you guys didn't hand pollinate.
No hand pollination.
They were busy getting naughty while you
Yeah,
watching.
exactly. That fern-like begonia is the endemic Begonia polilioensis. It's found in Polillo Island and in parts of Real, Quezon.
Is it easy to grow?
Once it's established, as you see here,
Yeah.
they start growing, but it's quite hard
I see.
to establish.
I see.
That's another form of polilioensis. It has broader leaves.
The one
So
down
they're the
below.
same- yeah, they're the same species,
Oh, wow.
but the form is very variable,
Yeah.
and the flowers come in white, pink, reddish pink. It comes in several forms.
Nice.
That's the polilioensis with the broader leaf. This is the one with the finer.
They really do look like fern, but
Yeah,
begonia.
it's one of my favorites.
Fascinating. And it's a
And the
canyon.
flowers are also variable, no?
Yeah.
From pink to white to.
This is looking nice. So this is, again, same species, just different form. You don't know if they're species or hybrids.
They've lost already. They have to trace the origin of that plant.
So we actually don't know which of them are species anymore, unless you're like a specialist, I guess, in begonias. But this is where they mingle,
Yeah,
and
you get all sorts of hybrids and
yeah.
and bastards.
And then they just like, for the hybrids even, it's the survival of the fittest for them too.
yeah.
They just kind of try to find their
But
way.
there are actually just about 4 or 5 species of begonias here, no?
Originally, right?
Yeah.
And now there's many.
It's like you have 200, right now, 200 documented species of begonias in the Philippines. So just, I don't know what percentage this is. So we could add more species for more hybridization. This one, this Scandin plant is a It's an unidentified medinilla.
Yeah, you can tell from the leaves that it's a Begonias.
It's a melastoma. Yeah, melastome. I have not seen it flower, but it's supposed to be quite spectacular.
Nice. Homalomina, and it's like
Homalomina. It's aquatic, semi-aquatic.
Yeah.
Or like a.
Are most Homalomina semi-aquatic?
Kinda. They grow near waterfalls.
I see. Interesting. So some of the plants here were donated by people.
Yeah, from my botanist friends.
That's amazing.
Botanist and horticultural friends.
Sometimes these kinds of collections are a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it has to be a collaborative effort. You cannot do it alone. I think in the Philippines we have 10,000 species of plants.
Yeah. So we didn't mention this earlier, but approximately how many species do you have here? Hundreds, thousands?
In the Arboretum?
Yes.
Our last inventory was about 600.
Okay.
But earlier on, before there was we had a water shortage last year, and initially there were around 800.
I see.
So we lost a lot of species. And also when the canopy closed.
Yeah.
Because initially these were small trees,
Yeah.
But when we had the closed canopy, a lot of the sun-loving flowering plants died out.
They were smothered by the shade.
Yeah. So it's also a demonstration of how dynamic a forest is, Because we tend to think of it as a static environment or habitat. It's constantly changing, but incrementally, Not in the way we reckon time. So sometimes you think it's not unchanging,
Yeah.
But you come back in a few weeks or a few months, it's you can sometimes not recognize the place.
It's also survival of the fittest.
It
They're
is,
all trying to find a way in this new environment that they're in,
It's very fascinating how these plants interact, You can almost say that they have their own personalities. You can anthropomorphize them, attribute human qualities like some of them are parasitic, like humans. Some of them are opportunistic.
Yeah.
Some of them are mutualistic relationships. So it's a very dynamic ecosystem,
How many people take care of this place, this garden?
The Arboretum proper is handled by Michael, and the rest of the museum grounds is handled by Domeng. So there's essentially just 2 gardeners here
I see.
taking care of the whole area. This is an interesting plant, a very underutilized plant. But if you look at the underside, it's very ornamental too because the side is silver.
Yeah.
And it has yellow flowers with red berries that are edible. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
and they're very similar in growth habit to bougainvilleas,
see.
So if you want to replace your bougainvillea with a native plant,
You could.
replace it with this one.
I see. Maybe a more shade-loving plant, or is it?
Full sun. It prefers just like the bougainvillea.
I see.
And it will produce more fruits and flowers if it's in full sun.
Yeah.
And it also grows brownish hairs, which becomes more prominent in full sun. This is Lea magnifolia. As the name implies, it has large leaves, but it grows much bigger. No, one leaf could be maybe this big.
Oh, that's
and
massive.
It's deep. This one, I think the temperature has to do with the redness or the purple
that's
underside.
beautiful.
In cooler climates, it turns deep purple.
That's beautiful underside.
Yeah,
Also the
and
top
it
side.
gets this big.
As it gets big, does it lose its patterning or whatever? This is typical.
Actually, it becomes more pronounced, more ruffling. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pattern kind of disappears, turns green, dark green, but more bulate, more pronounced. This one is not very photogenic right now, but it's a lost species. It's a Syzygium, Megastophyllum. It has very round leaves.
Yeah.
And the flower is like Dilenia, Dilenia philippinensis.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful with this plant. It's a lost species.
Yeah.
It's a species that has not been seen in...
Again,
Well, we need to...
pay special attention to them.
I don't know if you have that problem in other parts of Southeast Asia, but we have a squirrel problem here.
Oh no.
From Bangkok, I think somebody released squirrels and they've been terrorizing this place, nibbling on the new growth. It's related to the Discocalyx ardicias. Very beautiful foliage. This is another one here.
With that emergent leaf coming up.
Another untapped ornamental plant.
This is also already big in the market, and variegated ones are already.
And so many different forms also.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Still under study.
I think this is often used in terrariums.
That's Elatostema.
Yeah.
Again, about 80, 90 species and many more undescribed.
Wow, in the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Amazing.
A friend of mine is also specializing on the Elatostemas, and I think he has about a dozen undescribed specimens. What do you call that?
Elatostema?
Elatostema, yeah. So it's actually also good ground cover or wall cover, actually.
This is an aroid, but I don't know what this is, and it's interesting.
That's Monticola. Monticola, yeah. It used to be a hit during
Really?
the pandemic.
Timeless look.
This one is quite small. The leaves get this big.
And do they split or do they?
No, they get very rigid.
I see.
So it's almost like plastic when they're full grown.
Yeah.
This one is, they get very succulent.
Yeah. Probably the only aroid we'll cover today.
One of them is edible. I don't know if this is the one that's edible.
Yeah. But
then-
Homolimina that climbs like this is.
They grow on waterfalls.
Yeah.
Like normally when you have the misting here,
Yeah.
it's perpetually wet.
I see.
So water would be dripping. Can you imagine this ficus is just 5 years old?
Oh my gosh, this thing?
Yeah, Ficus variegata.
Oh.
They call it in local parlance tangisang bayawak. Bayawak, it's monitor lizard. So they call it tangisang bayawak because the bark is so smooth,
Yeah. The lizards cannot slide.
cannot climb it. Yeah, and so they cry. Tangisang means they're frustrated, crying.
Thank you so much for watching this all the way to the very end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and please check to make sure you are subscribed on your way out. Just by you watching all the way to the very end means the world to me. But if you would like to contribute to the channel financially, for as small as a cup of coffee a month, you may join my Patreon at patreon.com/Sean from OnlyPlants. Or you may join my YouTube member. Simply open any of my videos from a computer browser, and next to my channel name you will see that join button. Alright, thank you again for watching. Bye!